Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for the kind introduction. My name is Rob Antoniak. I'm the Chief Customer Officer of TripShot. We're a transportation technology company that I'll talk to you a little bit about in just a moment. So thank you to the Worldwide Ferry Safety Association. This background, I'm actually in the Pacific Northwest, but personally, I spent a great deal of time right underneath this bridge, side by side, working with some of the best Coast Guard professionals in the world. While I'm talking about transportation technology today, I greatly respect and understand what you all deal with every single day in terms of not just maritime safety, but also passenger safety. And so today we really want to pour into how do we pivot as transportation professionals? What can technology, something like technology here at TripShot, do to assist those of you in the Ferry Safety Association on getting riders back on board and get them into a place of rebuilding trust. So with that, I'm going to jump right in to sharing my screen. Hopefully you're seeing it here. A little quick intro on TripShot, and then I'll jump right into rebuilding rider trust, and you've got my contact info. Our mission here at TripShot is to simply and efficiently solve transit's most pressing problems, to redefine mobility for all. And the shock of the beginning of 2020 and late 2019, it became painfully obvious for us that most pressing problem was going to be about passengers and be about riders, and how do we get them on board and redefine their world. So we jumped right into that at the beginning of this year, and I'll talk to you about how we did that. TripShot, we're the single mobility management platform, the only one that can manage an entire transit operation. Just to give you some context and validation here, we move well over 2,000 vehicles, including dozens of ferries, 200,000 riders, and 5,000 different routes. And when I talk about moving ferries specifically, I want to be crystal clear. When I'm talking about safety, I'm talking about informing passengers, not being the safety critical system for the things that you do based on that experience I told you earlier under the bridge. So we manage that entire transit operation from a driver's perspective, the administrator's perspective, but most importantly through that rider's perspective. And do that through a set of tightly integrated apps where everybody's being able to see everything at any time. A variety of different modes. Again, I've talked a little bit about this. The workhorse of a transportation system oftentimes is a bus, and we refer to that as fixed route, but all these other modes, and again, including the ferry systems of some of our private companies. So come July, after 6 months of working in this COVID environment, I was surprised to read that 63% of the populace want to return to the office, and only 37% of the workforce wanted to remain working from home. What does that mean? That means we're going to have an influx of riders and passengers on all of our modes of transportation, and it bodes well for the future of transportation, but it's going to take significant changes to our way of thinking in how transit professionals provide service while simultaneously working to rebuild that rider trust. There's no question we need to be good at the things we've always done, like vehicles and ferries and safety devices and drivers and routing and scheduling and nautical navigation and all of that. We still need to be excellent. In fact, we need to exceed expectations in that way. But then we need to redefine that and really answer this question of how do you move forward safely while rebuilding that rider trust? We believe technology is a big part of that. I want to walk you through just a little bit of what riders typically kind of experience in a mobile application related to transportation. So you've come to expect this, whether you use an app like ours or you use some of those in other modes of transportation like airlines or ferry information or other types of transportation, bikes, scooters, and the like. You expect a really intuitive, streamlined mobile application, takes you through a pretty standard trip planning experience, lets you explore kind of nearby where you need to go, whether it's to the dock or the side of the bay or in the Union Square. Notifications, being able to see exactly what's happening when, where, and how, and set those notifications not only right now, but into the future. Pay for that ride through a variety of transactions and passes, and then display that all right there on your mobile device. This is all standard operating procedures for us in technology. So back to that question, how do you move forward safely while rebuilding rider trust? The reality is we really need to demonstrate that we are capable of caring for the rider's surroundings the way we've been doing since settling into this new way of life. So keeping them healthy while they ride to and from their destinations is not an option. We have to demonstrate that by adding additional vehicles, additional numbers of seats, perhaps reducing the number of riders. And so we started to do that through a reservations and capacity management system, addressing some of the pain points associated with our current environment, giving administrative controls around policies and allowing what you're seeing here is allowing administrators to set the number of seats that may be available on a vehicle or on a ferry, and allow the customer right there to push on a button to reserve that seat and see that in the real time with really reliable data as to what's happening. And perhaps if that vehicle is full, joining a waiting list as they do here. So what you're seeing is a little shield there, tells you that the vehicle's been retrofitted for safe distancing, and allows the passenger to really kind of understand what's happening when they get to the curb or to the dock to take their journey and take their ride. The reservation plan allows them to tell you if they're riding with a wheelchair or a bicycle, the day of the week. Why is this important? It's not just about trip shot, but I have a routine. I go down to the dock every single day and I take that ferry, across the Sound or across the bay or into the harbor in New York City or around the world. I do this every single day. So I want to be able to do this on a routine basis and see what's happening. It creates greater safety and security for the riders when they know what's going on. It reduces the friction when boarding, so folks can see, they don't have to interact with the staff in a way that they're concerned. And rider visibility into that available capacity. Here you're seeing a bus where it's turned yellow, it's about half full. And the ability to request specially equipped vehicles is really key in our system on ground. But maybe there's a special request on board of ferry that needs to be done. So as I wrap up there, we firmly believe that technology is a critical backbone to the environment. Just wanted to give you a flavor of what we're doing in transportation and on board a small ferry system. This is really, really key to the success. And again, as somebody that has been in maritime and worked in it for several years early in my career, I really appreciate what you're doing every single day. Eventually, when these proper measures are put in place and quell the rise of this pandemic, we need to consider what it will take to protect our passengers and our most valuable assets, who are our most valuable assets in our transportation networks. And without that information, passengers will be stepping into situations that they feel unknown. If you're looking to rebuild that rider trust, by all means, give me a call. I'm happy to brainstorm with you. It's not about the product so much as it is about the journey. And look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.